Nelsson Kodak Company is happy to bring you America's favorite family, the Nelsons. Ozzie, Harriet, David, and Ricky. Like most of us, they save their good times in pictures. That's an idea any family would do well to follow. Remember the nursery rhyme, Monday's child is fair of face. On Monday, take her picture. Tuesday's child is full of grace. Tuesday, take her picture. Wednesday's child is loving and giving. Thursday's child works hard for a living. Friday's child is full of woe. Saturday's child has far to go. She's a different person every day, and you can save them all in pictures. For all your pictures, you can count on dependable Kodak film, the film in the familiar yellow box. And now, Kodak invites you to enjoy The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet.
Oh, say, I mustn't forget to see about my reservation.
Well, you got some friends coming to town?
No, it's for myself.
Don't tell me your wife kicked you out.
Actually, the painter kicked us both out. We're having the house redone. Shirley's gone to visit her mother, and I've got to find myself a place to camp for a few days.
Oh. Gee, do you think you'll find it comfortable down here?
Oh, sure, Oz. Don't worry about me. I'll be all right.
Well, no, I wasn't worried about you, but, gee, you staying down here, it might be a little inconvenient making your house calls. Most of your patients live out in our neighborhood, don't they?
Well, sure, but I couldn't impose on you, Oz.
What do you mean, impose on me?
Well, I know exactly what you're hinting at, but I can't let you do it.
Well, let me do what?
Put me up at your place.
Oh, well, sure. Gee, you're welcome to come out there, Doc.
Oh, Oz, I appreciate the invitation, but I really can't accept.
Well, why not? It's ridiculous for you to stay at a hotel here, and we've got so much room up at our house.
Oh, no, Oz. Besides, I've already made arrangements to have my calls transferred to your house. That is, to the hotel here.
I can change that easy enough.
Well, you certainly do make it sound attractive. You sure Harriet won't mind?
Well, no, she'd be glad to have you. So would the boys.
Well, now, look, Oz. If I do come, it's on one condition. You got to give me a bill for room and board.
Doc, are you kidding?
No, I'm serious. I've found when there's a doctor around, people can't resist asking for free medical advice. So you give me a bill, and I'll give you one.
You come up to our house and stay as long as you want, and I'll guarantee you nobody's going to pump you for any free medical advice. So I'll cancel your reservation.
Oh, well, Oz.
We might as well do it now. Would you be good enough to cancel Dr. Williams' reservation for us, please?
Oh, yes, sir.
Thank you. Sorry to have caused you so much trouble.
That's perfectly all right, Doctor. Williams. I don't have any reservation for Williams.
Oh, those Chamber of Commerce boys are real jokers, all right.
I hope you fellows won't mind sleeping in the den.
Oh, heck no, we can watch television while we're in bed.
How long is Dr. Williams going to be here, Pop?
Oh, several days.
Oh, great, then I can ask him about my elbow.
What's the matter with your elbow? You've been bending it too much at the mall shop?
No, it hurts every time I hit a backhand.
Look, fellas, let's get one thing straight. Just because Doc Williams is going to come over here to spend a couple of days doesn't mean we can pester him for a lot of medical advice.
I thought doctors like to talk about medical things.
Well, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But the point is, especially since he's our guest, I think it's only polite for us to let him choose his own topic of conversation.
Well, if he happens to bring up the subject of elbows, can I tell him about mine?
Since to bring it up, everybody talks about elbows.
Well, the whole point is, Rick, Dr. Williams spends all day listening to people talk about their ailments. So while he's here, let's just let him relax and enjoy himself, huh? Hey, you're not doing anything. You want to go up and get some pillowcases for me?
Okay. Come on, David, give me a hand.
What's the matter? Can't you lift them by yourself?
You know, I think that was good advice you gave the boys, Harriet, and if you don't mind my suggesting it, I think you and I should bear it in mind, too.
Oh, well, naturally. You want to push the bed back there for me?
You know, every time I bend down lately, I get kind of a cramp in my back. Remind me to ask Doc.
Yes?
Remind me to ask Doc if it's okay if I make an appointment to go to his office and see him. Sit down here, Doc. Make yourself comfortable.
Oh, thanks, Oz. Oh, boy, that Harriet sure can cook.
She sure can.
Care for a cigar?
No, thanks. Got a newspaper around here someplace. Here's light.
Oh, thanks, Dave.
Do you think smoking cuts down on your wind, Doctor?
Well, I certainly wouldn't recommend it for an athlete in training, Dave, but when a man gets to be my age, I think he can handle a cigar now and then. Besides, I kind of like to watch the smoke.
Here, Dr. Williams, let me make you comfortable.
Oh, thanks, Rick.
Oh, boy.
Something the matter with your elbow?
Yeah, whenever I hit a backhand, it sort of hurts me right in there.
Pardon me, Rick. Didn't you boys want to give your mother a hand clearing off the table?
Gee, Pop, I can't...
Come on, Rick.
It's the darndest thing. Just bring a doctor in the house and the whole family starts to develop aches and pains.
Well, I guess that's only natural. Could I have a hunk of that paper, Oz?
Oh, yeah, sure, here. Have you ever taken a look at this column on medical advice they've got here? This Dr. Brockhouse's daily diagnosis?
Yeah, I glanced at it once or twice.
Pretty interesting.
Well, I can tell you this much. They got a fine music editor in this paper.
Oh, really? I must admit I never could get interested in that classical music.
No, I don't mean the classical stuff. I mean the guy who reviews the records, the popular stuff.
Don't tell me you're a rock and roll addict.
No, I can't say as I dig that so much. You'll probably think I'm a real square, but I kind of like Dixieland. Oh, I see where Pete Daly has a new album out.
The column tonight's all about pernicious anemia.
You know, Billy May has a wonderful Dixieland album, real tongue-in-cheek stuff, beautifully done.
Well, hey, here's a guy writes in complaining about the same thing I've got. He's got this bump on his shoulder from a separation, and he says every time it rains or there's damp weather, it bothers him.
What does he say for him to do about it?
It says for him to see his doctor.
Well, it's a lucky thing I'm here, Oz.
Oh, no, please, Doc.
No, let me see. Does that hurt there?
Well, no, not especially. Why?
Did you ever have your tonsils out?
No. Do you believe in taking tonsils out?
Well, it all depends. In some cases, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know, because that sort of thing seems to run in cycles. I mean, for a while, all the doctors say, yank the kid's tonsils out. Then it goes in the other direction, and they all say, leave the tonsils in.
Really? I didn't know we were that well organized.
Well, fortunately, when I was a kid, they were leaving them in, and I still have mine.
Well, maybe yours should have come out.
Now, Doc, get that look out of your eye. I've had my tonsils all my life, and I intend to keep them.
Well, that's okay. That's honest.
No, I really mean it.
Say, that sure is quite a bump you've got there.
Well, I tell you how I got that. See, I got my shoulder broken years ago, and then when it healed up, this bump was there.
I got the same kind of bump on my knee.
Oh, yeah, how about that?
What do you think that is, Oz?
Gee, I don't know.
Let me feel that again. You sure that doesn't hurt up there?
No, not at all. I tell you what does bother me occasionally, though. I don't much think I'm looking for any free medical advice, but every once in a while, I get a kind of a pain down my back here. And the only thing that helps it is when Harriet walks up and down on it.
What was that again?
Oh, I have Harriet walk up and down on it. It feels great, like an old-fashioned massage. Of course, she takes her shoes off first. Wait a minute. Harriet!
Well, no, Oz, don't bother.
I want you to see this. Harriet, could you come here a second?
What do you want?
Well, I've been telling Doc about your walking on my back, and I thought we could give him a little demonstration.
Oh, poor Doc will think we're crazy.
You're really on the level with this now, aren't you? I mean, you're not just trying to entertain me because I'm a guest.
We've been doing this for years.
You did say she takes her shoes off, didn't you, Oz?
Oh, yes, Doc. He insists upon it. Ready?
How about that?
Enough?
That's wonderful. It really feels good. They tell me it's an old Swedish remedy.
Well, say, it's kind of dangerous, isn't it?
Well, no. Harriet's been doing it for years, and it hasn't hurt me yet.
I don't mean you. I mean for Harriet. She's liable to slip off and break an ankle.
You know, I never thought of that.
Well, I guess I better go to bed, Oz. I got to be at the hospital early tomorrow. Say, would you like to ride over with me?
Oh, gee, no thanks. I don't think so,
Oh,
Doc.
come on, Oz. We can have lunch together.
Well, maybe some other time. You go up and get a good night's sleep. Oh, by the way, what about phone calls?
Oh, I might get a call from Mrs. Biddle.
Who's she?
She's a patient of mine. She's the healthiest woman I've ever known in my life. But she loves to call up in the middle of the night and have a little chat.
So, well, maybe she'll skip tonight. Who knows?
Well, I hope so. I'm tired. Say, are you sure that doesn't hurt?
Well, honestly, it doesn't hurt me at all.
Well, okay. Good night, Oz.
Night.
Night, Harriet. Thanks again for the dinner.
It's a pleasure. Good night, Doc. What's the matter?
Oh, well, Doc evidently thinks there's something wrong with my neck or throat. He keeps asking me if it hurts.
Well, does it?
Well, I don't know. Feel it a minute and see if it feels strange to you. Do we have a medical book around the house?
Yes, we do. Don't you remember you ordered that book of Dr. Brockhauser's last year?
Oh. Oh, yeah. Here it is. Thought I'd see what he had to say about tonsils.
Well, don't stay up too late.
In the old days, the family loved, almost worshipped the family doctor. He was their guide in health as well as in sickness. He alone of all the community knew the family's secrets, and he could be depended on to keep the faith. Hello?
Oh, hello. Is Dr. Williams there?
Well, could you tell me who's calling, please?
Mrs. Biddle.
Oh, well, my name is Nelson. Could I take a message for Dr. Williams?
Well, I wanted to know if Dr. Williams could do anything for this pain I have in my back. It's not a real bad pain. It's more like an ache.
Who's that on the phone at this hour?
It's a Mrs. Biddle. Her back hurts her.
Why don't you prescribe the old Swedish remedy, Doctor?
Oh, Harriet, do you think I should?
Well, why not? It always makes you feel better.
Other times it's sort of a dull ache.
Well, okay. Good night.
Television, too.
Hello, Mrs. Biddle. Mrs. Biddle? Mrs. Biddle? Mrs. Biddle? Yeah. You say you have a pain in your back?
Well, it's not a real bad pain. It sort of comes and goes.
Well, I always use this old Swedish remedy. Now, I know this may sound a little unusual, but why don't you have your husband walk up and down on your back? I think you'll find it helpful.
Oh, really? Well, he isn't at home at the moment. He's attending a meeting of some sort. But I'll have him do it the moment he comes in.
Well, you try that, and I think you'll find it helps.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Nelson.
It's a pleasure, Mrs. Biddle. Good night.
Hello?
Hello. May I speak to Dr. Nelson, please?
Dr. Nelson.
No, that's for me, Harriet. Hello?
Dr. Nelson, I want to thank you. My back feels so much better. Elvis walked up and down on it several times, and I feel just wonderful.
Oh, that's fine. I'm glad to hear it. If it bothers you again, have him give you the same treatment.
Thank you, Doctor. Oh, and tell Dr. Williams I'm feeling ever so much better since he took out my tonsils.
You say Dr. Williams took your tonsils out? Tell me this, did you want them out, or did Dr. Williams insist on it?
Well, I guess you'd call it a harmless little conspiracy. You see, I didn't want to have them out. But he and Elvis spirited me down to the hospital one morning, and before I knew it, I was on the table, and zip, zip. But I didn't feel a thing.
Oh, no, of course.
Well, thanks again, Doctor.
Okay, good night, Mrs. Biddle.
Maybe you should have your tonsils taken out.
Oh, yeah. We'll see about that.
Wish you were here. Wish you were here.
Snapshots in a letter. They're the next best thing to a personal visit. And to one who's waited so eagerly to see them, snapshots will almost seem to come alive. Now she can see how big the baby's grown. Now she knows how well and happy her family is. And how about you? Someone you know would give the world to see pictures of you and your family. They're easy to send. All it takes is a little thoughtfulness, a camera, and some Kodak film. Right now, Kodak has a new film, Verichrome Pan, to make your snapshots better in sunlight, in the shade, on dull, cloudy days, or indoors with flash. Isn't there someone who'd like to receive snapshots from you?
Wish you were here.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Dr. Nelson.
How about this pain in my elbow, Doc?
Make an appointment.
Well, what was that Dr. Nelson thing all about last night?
Oh, that was a patient of Doc Williams, and I couldn't make her understand I wasn't a doctor, so I just let it go at that. Where is Doc anyway?
Oh, he left for the hospital over an hour ago.
Well, doctors sure lead tough lives.
They sure do.
You're not kidding. 7 days a week, Saturday and Sunday included.
Here, have some pancakes before they get cold.
No thanks, Harry. I think I'll just have a little orange juice and some of this black coffee.
Well, that's not much of a breakfast.
Well, my throat is giving me a little trouble.
What's wrong with it?
I don't know. You want to feel it?
I don't feel anything.
Let me feel it, Pop. Feels all right to me.
Here, my turn. Feels all right to me.
Well, I don't care how much it hurts me. He's not going to yank my tonsils out.
Who, Pop?
Doc Williams.
Well, when did he say he was going to take your tonsils out?
Well, he didn't exactly say it, but he's been hinting about it.
Well, doctors don't usually hint about things like that.
Well, Doc Williams does. He did the same thing with Mrs. Biddle.
Who's Mrs. Biddle?
Oh, she's a patient of mine. not exactly a patient. Anyway, Doc got her down to the hospital on some pretext or other, and the next thing she knew, she was on the operating table, and wham, he was yanking her tonsils out.
Well, that doesn't sound like Doc.
Well, I know it doesn't, but I found out a funny thing about him last night. I brought up the subject of tonsils, and he immediately went on the defensive.
In what way?
Well, for one thing, he asked me if I'd had mine out, and when he found out I hadn't, you should have seen the look in his eye. Kind of like a bird dog quivering at a quail.
Oh, you're imagining things.
No, wait a minute. The next thing he did was invite me to go down to the hospital with him this morning. He's never done that before in his life.
Well, he couldn't operate on you without getting your consent.
Well, that's not much of an operation anyway, is it, Pop? Ricky and I both had our tonsils taken out.
All I remember is they fed me ice cream.
Well, and that's not the point. It's like getting baptized. A thing like that should be done when you're young. I've had my tonsils all my life, and I want to keep them.
Well, if Doc thinks your tonsils should come out, you better have them out.
But he hasn't said they have to come out, and he's not going to take them out like he did Mrs. Biddle's.
Well, how could he have taken hers out without her knowing about it?
Well, I'm sure I don't know.
Maybe he told her to open her mouth and say, ah, and then yanked him out.
Well, there's your solution, dear. From now on, when Doc's around, keep your mouth shut.
You know, Harriet, the more I read this Dr. Brockhauser, the more I admire the man. For one thing, he is definitely against the indiscriminate removal of tonsils.
Well, good for him.
Hi, Oz. Harriet.
Hi, Doc.
Hiya, Doc. What brings you back so soon?
Oh, that's a fine greeting.
I thought you were going to stay at the hospital all day.
Can you stay for lunch, Doc?
Oh, I sure hope so, Harriet, unless I get a call from the hospital.
Hello? Oh, yes, just a moment, please. For you, Doc.
Thanks, Harriet. Dr. Williams? Oh? Oh, well, I'll be right down. Darn it all. That was the hospital. I've got to go right over there. A funny thing, I just mentioned that, too. Well, that'll teach me to keep my big mouth shut. Would you like to come along, Oz?
No, thanks, Doc.
Oh, come on. We'll have lunch down there.
I'll see you when you get back, Doc. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Well, I'll be home in time for dinner, Harriet.
Okay, goodbye, Doc.
Bye.
So long. How about that?
How about what?
Well, how dumb does he think I am? Trying to get me down to the hospital under the pretext of having lunch so he can yank my tonsils out?
Oh, don't be silly. He got a call from the hospital.
Oh, sure he did. You heard him say the only reason he'd have to go down to the hospital was if he got a phone call, and whammo, right on cue he gets the phone call. That doesn't strike you as being a weird coincidence?
If Doc wanted to take your tonsils out, he'd tell you about it.
Well, maybe he would and maybe he wouldn't. He knows how I feel about the indiscriminate yanking of people's tonsils. I feel the same as Dr. Brockhauser. I'm against it.
Well, if he wanted to take your tonsils out, why'd he take off without you?
You haven't heard the car pull out of the driveway yet, have you?
No, but I will in a minute.
Oz, you gotta help me. My car won't start. I think the battery's dead.
You want me to give you a push?
Oh, no, you're not doing anything, Oz. Come on, drive me down.
Well, go ahead, dear. Drive him down.
Why are you so anxious to have me go down to the hospital? Are you in on this conspiracy, too?
Oh, don't be silly. There's no conspiracy.
Okay, I'll drive him down there, but I'll tell you this much. He's not going to get me near that operating room.
Come on, Oz.
I think I'll wait out here.
Well, okay. Oh, Oz, I forgot my bag. Will you bring it in?
Hey, Doc. Pardon me, nurse. I'm looking for Dr. Williams.
Oh, he just went into surgery right across the hallway there, Doctor.
Oh, pardon me. Oh, right this way. Oh, nurse, is Dr. Williams in there?
Yes, he is. I'm just getting some records for him.
Phonograph records.
Personally, I just don't dig this Dixieland stuff at all.
A nurse? Oh, pardon me. Could you take this into Dr. Williams for me, please? He's right in there.
Well, you can take it in, Doctor.
Oh, no. See, I'm not a doctor. Besides, I'd rather not go in there. I've been having a little trouble. Would you take a look at my throat, please?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, it could be any number of things. I see you've never had your tonsils taken out.
No, and I have no intention of having them taken out either.
Well, it's really a very simple operation.
You believe in the indiscriminate yanking of people's tonsils?
I'm sorry, sir. I don't have time to discuss it now. They're calling for me in Ward B.
Are you Mr. Nelson?
Oh, yes, I am.
Dr. Williams is waiting for you. He's preparing for surgery and he needs some needles.
Oh, yeah, I have his bag here. I guess he wants the hypodermic needles.
Oh, no, I'm talking about his phonograph needles.
I suppose he plays his jazz when he's operating, too.
No, of course not. Dr. Williams is waiting. Just follow me.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, there you are, Oz. Come on in.
What for?
Well, I got a little surprise for you in here.
Oh, yeah? I got a surprise for you. You got to catch me first. Oz, wait a minute. I'm a little smarter than Mrs. Biddle.
Oh, for goodness sakes, how long have you been home, dear?
Oh, about an hour, I guess.
I didn't hear you come in. Oh, what's the matter? Does your poor neck hurt you?
No.
Oh, where's Doc?
Well, I don't know. I guess he's still down in the hospital trying to lure people into his operating room.
Oh, don't be silly.
Boy, they sure get you one way or another down there. I imagine they do a pretty big business in broken legs, too. They got those floors so slippery you can just about stand up on them.
Hey, Oz, what happened to you?
What happened to me? You know darn well. I got out of there just in time. That's what happened to me.
What do you mean, just in time?
Well, you might as well tell him, dear. Oz thought you lured him down there so you could take his tonsils out.
Are you kidding, Oz? Why do you want your tonsils out?
Oh, come on, Doc. You know darn well you told me you had a surprise for me in the operating room.
Well, I did. There was an old friend of yours in there. I thought you'd like to meet him.
Oh, who was that?
Dr. Brockhauser. He just finished a tonsillectomy.
You weren't trying to take my tonsils out?
Of course not. There's nothing wrong with your tonsils.
Well, then, how come my neck hurts me?
Well, it's all bruised and swollen, that's why. Has somebody been poking and grabbing you in the neck?
Practically everybody.
Well, that's why it's sore.
What do you think I ought to do about it?
Well, I'll tell you, Oz, and this is free of charge. Why don't you take a nice hot bath? And then, Harriet, you walk up and down on his back again. Only this time, leave your shoes on and walk heavy. Better yet, have you got a pair of roller skates in the house?
Home from a wonderful holiday. But for this lucky couple, this year's vacation will never really end because they saved it all in color slides. And now home again, they see their slides so big and colorful, it's just as though they were living their fun all over again. Perhaps you've never realized how much fun color slides can be, or how easy and inexpensive they are to take, even indoors like this. What's more, you can enjoy color slides 3 ways. Projected life-size on a home screen, in a hand viewer, or as beautiful color enlargements in many sizes. Before your next holiday outing, see the many fine color slide cameras by Kodak. You can get started for as little as $31.50 or less than $4 down. Remember, if it's made by Kodak, you know it's good.
Careless driving is kid stuff. Kid stuff which kills more kids under 15 and more adults under 35 each year than polio, cancer, heart trouble, or any other disease. The safe driver is one who can control his emotions behind the wheel and who thinks of others. Safe driving is mostly a matter of having grown up emotionally. If you care, drive with care.
The bellhop was Skip Young. Man with the tray was Charles E. Wilcox.
Ozzie and Harriet are brought to you by the Eastman Kodak Company, who remind you that the name Kodak on your camera or film is your guarantee of quality. If it's made by Kodak, you know it's good. This has been an ABC Television Network film presentation.